Hello everyone, my name is Benjamin Debuté and welcome to this new webinar about hydrogen solution. I'm one of the co-founders of DCbrain and I'm very happy to organize with Raluca from innoEnergy this webinar about innovative hydrogen solution. So today we will start with Christian Weinberger, who is working at the European Union focusing on energy transition. And he will introduce today's debate with a quick presentation about the role of hydrogen in this energy transition. Then Raluca will represent innoEnergy, which is a fund backed by the European Union and dedicated to funding innovation for the energy transition. And she will introduce 5 different startups, including HySiLabs, FlexiDAO, Sylfen, Atawey, and DCbrain, who all work for in the hydrogen field, and that's it. So just before starting, before giving the mic to Christian, a quick reminder: it's 10 minutes per presentation. We have a very short timeline, so please respect that. Everyone can ask questions directly in the chat, and at the end of all the presentation, we will answer the various questions. So have a great webinar, and again, thank you for being here. Christian, you can start.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm gonna explain a bit more the initiative of the European Commission in terms of hydrogen and the hydrogen strategy and the hydrogen alliance, which in itself then should sort of provide you with a good platform to understand what is going on at the political level. So if somebody can put up my slides, that would be useful. In fact, go to the next one already. The overall background of this hydrogen strategy and the emphasis on hydrogen by the European Commission is the Green Deal, is Paris 21, is trying to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We want to achieve climate neutrality in Europe in 2050 and more than 50% reduction by 2030 already. And for this, we really need to look at all possible options, and hydrogen certainly is a very serious one. A second element is the industrial strategy for Europe, which was announced in March this year by Commissioner Breton, which says that in essence, very briefly, that the European industry should be supported, in particular for the growth areas. And hydrogen has been identified as one of the 6 important growth areas for the future. So also from the industrial strategy point of view, hydrogen is becoming a very important topic. The European hydrogen strategy was born sort of very rapidly out of the energy system integration communication that the Commission had planned originally for the first half of this year. But it became clear that hydrogen is so important that it was decided to split it off and start with a separate communication, have a separate communication on hydrogen, which was announced in July, beginning of July, finally, this year. And I will just come back to a couple of key messages for you to also get what is in it. And finally, the fourth part of the Trèfle is the European Clean Hydrogen Alliance, which is the combination of the two, the strategy and the hydrogen strategy and the industrial strategy, to get into action on making this massive rollout of hydrogen in the EU happen. And the alliance is with industry to say, okay, what can industry do in this sense, and what is the support it needs from the public authorities, from member states, from regions. Okay, next slide. Just a quick overview of the strategy. Strategy is actually very operational. It's something that we insisted very much that it's important to have concrete deadlines, because 2050 is far away, and everybody will agree to big goals for 2050 because nobody has to implement them. So what we need, and it will not be possible to implement them then 5 years before. So we have to put the rails in the right direction now, and therefore we have this phase 1 that goes until 2024. Phase 2 that goes until 2030, still close enough. And then, yes, of course, 2050 is then the big thing. But we need to prepare this now. And therefore, we have this very ambitious goal written into the strategy of producing 4 gigawatt of renewable hydrogen by 24. We have the capacity installed to produce 4 gigawatt per year, which will also then result in 1 million tons. This is all rough figures, but still, of green hydrogen, replacing 10 million tons of CO2 by 2024. The second thing then in 2030 is about tenfolding the figures. There has been many debates about these figures actually, but in the end it was quite unanimous to say we need to be ambitious, but realistic. So the ones who said we need 120 gigawatt, they were told to be less ambitious, and the one that wanted just 10 gigawatt were told you have to be ambitious. So we have now this 40 gigawatt, which again is a significant figure. I mean, if you look at it, it's a very significant figure. And let's move to the next slide to talk about what are the main measures that are envisaged by the strategy. It is very obvious that we need at the same time scale up renewable hydrogen production and foster renewable hydrogen demand, or hydrogen demand in general, but green hydrogen, obviously. So the point is we need to support the producers through proper support mechanisms. I just put there one of them, carbon contracts for difference. So to pay the difference to the normal production cost of energy and have them produce hydrogen instead. And but there's many other measures, including IPCEI projects and the likes, where the government pays some delta to make the projects viable. But the important thing is it must be a massive scale up, otherwise we will not get the cost down far enough. Second thing is we need a EU-wide hydrogen infrastructure which can transport the hydrogen. This will be difficult to achieve at the competitive level by before 2030 because it's going to be based very much on repurposing existing gas pipelines. But until that, we need to find other methods of transportation which will still be useful afterwards, which are very much in the area of liquid hydrogen or organically bound hydrogen, already packaged hydrogen for use afterwards in form of ammonia or methanol or whatever. Compressed hydrogen will not really do the job for any long-term transportation. And there's a number of measures. Just one important one that is also very operational is to have input to the 10-year plan for the network development. That should already include a lot on hydrogen repurposing. And this is the production side and the transmission side. And now we talk, of course, about the demand side, because who will take all this hydrogen if it's produced? Nobody will produce it if nobody is uptaker. So there, it's important to support the final customers to develop these markets. I just give two examples here, which have been found most strategic at this moment: green fertilizer and green steel. So industry in general, industrial use of hydrogen. And particularly green steel is very promising, but also reasonably difficult to achieve. And the other one is mobility, and there in particular heavy duty. Some people also believe in normal road mobility, but heavy duty is certainly going to be the one where you can achieve a breakthrough, both in terms of scaling and also in terms of there's no alternative. I mean, the truck industry has withdrawn from the idea of producing trucks to transport batteries instead of goods. It will just be too much batteries needed to really have meaningful trucks. And then what is very important also is to create the markets between the two, between the production and demand. And it will only be green hydrogen that will have a value for the greenhouse gas emissions. Therefore, there's a need to get a certification system going that will also allow for an agreed calculation methodology. These things are all very technical and all very sort of complicated to find the proper compromise, but it will be very important to find that. And then the thinking is also to go for an accountability system that may even be based on blockchain, just to make it foolproof. We know from the renewable sector how difficult it is to rely on GOOs because they have gotten not such a good reputation. Okay, so much very quickly for the strategy. Now let me talk a few words also about the alliance. The idea is to involve industry, but in addition to that, all active stakeholders in the clean hydrogen ecosystem and bring together supply and demand, including all the society and NGOs. We have more than 900 members today, 1,000 maybe possible before the weekend. And if you want to sign up to it, it doesn't cost anything. You just have to sign the declaration, and you have the website there where you can go and read it. But it's for free. So if you subscribe to Green Hydrogen, please go there and sign up. But if you subscribe to Clean Hydrogen, you can also go there and sign up. Okay, next slide. What is the mission? The mission is to build up a robust pipeline of projects, not promises, but projects, and establish an investment agenda. So also put price tags on these projects in order then to find the funding and the financing and the gap financing for these projects based on the best return for taxpayers' money concept. So it will not be like any very fancy project just because it says it's a hydrogen project should be financed, but it should be the most efficient, cost-efficient projects. It will be important also in the context of the alliance to integrate the hydrogen value chain across Europe. So we cannot just put it on a slide to say, yes, we need to bring demand and supply together. It needs to be happening online, real time, if you like. Also, of course, the whole idea is to massively scale up things. I mean, yes, it's fine if you do 50 megawatt electrolyzers, but that's not going to save the world, and we're not going to make it until 2050 if you keep producing 50 megawatt electrolyzers. So we need to go faster, we need to go bigger. And there has been a blueprint published for how to achieve this mission, covering all 6 sectors with an total investment in Europe until 2030 of 430 billion euros. This will be, most of it will be private money, but there is a need for some government grants and support. Next slide. This all is done in the form of 6 round tables, thematic round tables, which represent the whole chain, because you need to go from production, transmission, mobility, and then industrial energy system applications and residential applications. I don't know why it says energy applications, it has to be energy system applications. These are all the different sectors with different economic actors, companies, and so on. Each of these roundtables is chaired by a CEO with 2 co-chairs. It will be entrusted with building the projects for their particular sector or pillar, as we call them, and also to identify the regulatory bottlenecks and identify the dependence of other roundtables. The applications for the roundtable participants have been closed last week, or even more than a week ago. And currently we are in the evaluation phase. The work of the roundtables, I mean, the members will be announced beginning of December, and the work will start probably, I optimistically want it to start still this year, but I think realistically it should be probably beginning of next year. Next slide. But what we do this year already, and this is actually this week, is the European Hydrogen Forum. This is the sort of the public platform for everybody on the alliance. It's a broad conference with more than 3,000 registrations already to take place this Thursday and Friday in the context of the European Hydrogen Week, which is already ongoing. So already yesterday and today there were the research stakeholder days that present their new research topics in the hydrogen field. And on Thursday, it's going to be the political debates. And on Friday it's the project day. Political debates means there's 4 commissioners, including the Vice President Timmermans. There's 5 Director Generals of the Commission. So it's really very, and 6 ministers from member states. So it's really very high level panels. But we also have smart talks about concrete topics. Like, for example, what is more important, energy efficiency or climate efficiency? Or how do you become a shooting star in the hydrogen sector? So it's quite a big, broad program.
Well, thank you very much. Sorry.
Yes, Ruka?
No, I was thanking you. I don't know if you finished already or not. So,
not yet. I just have the 3 more bullets there. So, and I think it's particularly important also for you to be aware of the project day on Friday, because there we have invited all the alliance members to present their hydrogen projects in order to find partners and also to find investors. So we will have 50 projects presented during the day, or 45. We have investor pitching, 15 investor pitchings to say what they expect from companies in the hydrogen sector in order to give them money. And there is this one-on-one matchmaking possibility where already today we have 300 meetings arranged, but there's room for a lot more to speak between also the people that don't present their projects, just those that are present at the conference, and other projects and the investors. So big opportunity for industry to pick up the baton, the opportunity. And also this Hydrogen Forum will be repeated more or less every 6 months. So the next one for May 21 is already planning to keep things going and even accelerate them. That's it. There's still a page with web links which you can use if you disseminate the slides, which you're free to do.
We will definitely share. Yes. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Weinberger, for this very interesting and insightful view on the European Commission part. So my name is Raluca. I am Sales and Business Development Manager at innoEnergy, and I am here to bring you some piece of good news. So first piece of good news is that over the last 10 years at innoEnergy, we have been working in order to de-risk and bring to the market very fast more than 480 innovative solutions that are in the field of energy, in which we have invested 560 million euros, and that also brought from the market more than 2.5 billion euros investment. When I say innovative solutions, it can be either startups, as the almost 300 startups we support today in Europe, so which makes us the largest accelerator in energy worldwide. And also it can be collaborative innovation projects and talents for your company. So that is a branch of education that we also have, where there are master schools, PhDs, and also learning modules. We have today 24 shareholders that you can see here with their logos that are mainly industry partners, research institutes, and also universities from across Europe, specialized, of course, in energy. And with our network of 500 additional partners, which are majoritarily industry partners as well, we are here to de-risk and reduce the time to market for the customers and investors that are hearing us today with all the solutions that we work with. At innoEnergy, we are based in 6 regional offices that you can see on the map. We have activities in 17 European countries, and also an office in Boston where we do the cross-landing between US and Europe in terms of energy. And we also have a direct presence in Brussels. So I'd like to thank my colleague Elena and Baptiste, who are in the call as well, for having Mr. Weinberger here. So they work closely together with the European Commission as well. And apart from these activities, we also create industrial value chains. So the first one we created is focused on batteries. It was created in 2017, and it's called EBA, which is short for European Battery Alliance. And the goal was very high because we set a goal at reaching a European market value of 250 billion euros in storage. And the 2 first industrial projects that came out of it are Northvolt and Verkor, which are 2 gigafactories of batteries situated in Sweden and in France. So now our second initiative of this kind was launched 3 weeks ago. It's called European Green Hydrogen Acceleration Center. So short is EGAC. And it's an initiative to drive industrialization of green hydrogen, which is complementary to what Mr. Weinberger was just presenting with the European Clean Hydrogen Alliance. So at EGAC, we set another very ambitious goal, which is by 2025, we want to reach 1,200 terawatt hours of energy based on a green hydrogen economy to create 500,000 extra jobs and also to draw 100 billion euros in investment to this market of green hydrogen in Europe. And the way to create it, to do so, is to create an open ecosystem that gathers the European actors across the hydrogen value chain in order to fill a pipeline of large-scale industrial projects with the support of Breakthrough Energy as well, which is a fund supported by Bill Gates. And today we have already signed the agreement of our first industrial pilot that aims to produce green steel, which is exactly what Mr. Weinberger was commenting before, at a competitive price with green hydrogen. And the beauty of it is that actually the project is replicable. So as I was saying before, during the past 10 years, we have been investing and de-risking solutions for customers and investors to work with in order to accelerate dramatically the energy transition. So today, more than 40 solutions are ready to market for renewables. So either renewable generation or optimization, that would be photovoltaics, wind, onshore and offshore, of course, tidal and wave energy. And as far as the hydrogen value chain is concerned, we have brought to maturity several types of solutions that are all across the value chain, as you can see. So there's production of hydrogen with alkaline electrolyzers from HyMet in Denmark. And also you were talking, Christian, about the transport as being a major stake in there. So of course, HySiLabs is the one tackling that stake, doing liquid transportation of hydrogen. And then when we talk about transportation, it's also very important to optimize the flows and in order to have the best infrastructure possible and lower the cost. So that would be the job of DCbrain that you will hear a bit later on. And thank you, Christian, as well. You were talking about the importance of certification. So that is what FlexiDAO is bringing today to the market. It's real-time renewable tracking based on blockchain. And as you were saying, Christian, now that we take a look at the end users, well, we have solutions like Atawey that is developing infrastructure for mobility based on hydrogen, and also like Sylfen, for instance, who are doing a reversible electrolyzer and fuel cell for the building and industry markets, and many, many others. And of course, I was telling you about this green steel new industrial project we just launched now. So the focus I wanted to give to this webinar is to show you participants that you can actually foster the energy transition starting today. And for that, I chose to let you interact with 5 of the solutions we support that are ready for market and are already selling today. So energy transition started 10 years ago and is accelerating today. For this, I would like to welcome, first of all, Pierre from HySiLabs, who is going to tell us a bit about the challenges he addresses and why his solution is so innovative, and maybe give us a few examples of use cases he can tackle. Pierre, the floor is for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Erica. Yeah, so I'm Pierre Casanova, and I'm the co-founder of HySiLabs. HySiLabs is a startup based in the south of France and supported by, by innoEnergy. We are based in Aix-en-Provence, and we are developing a new way to transport and store hydrogen. But before we start, maybe a quick wrap-up of what we said and what Christian and Raluca just said. So hydrogen is a key element in the energy transition. It could be easily produced simply by splitting water, and you will have a look of this kind of technology with the other speakers. So it's a key element to transport and store energy. When you then use hydrogen, the only byproduct is water. So that's the reason why it's very, it could be a key, it will play a real role in the energy transition. It could be used in several applications. I will not take a lot of time on this slide because the other speakers will mainly talk about final users and applications. But just a quick overview of that, hydrogen will have a real impact in the mobility sector for small vehicles to large vehicles, and also maritime applications and stationary applications. But that's the thing we will talk about later. So it's a huge market. We don't care about, I will not talk about data and on figures, but the thing is, it will play something, and we will have to deal with hydrogen transportation and storage for the future. So the main challenge right now in hydrogen is in how to transport and store hydrogen, because we are pretty sure that we will have the capacity to produce hydrogen in a massive amount. We are also pretty sure that we will consume this hydrogen with this massive amount produced. We will consume all this amount into different applications, like I said before, maritime application or mobility sector. But because of this gaseous state, because of its gaseous state, hydrogen is still complicated to store and transport when you talk about massive transportation and storage. So what we developed at HySiLabs is a new way to transport hydrogen. So instead of storing and transporting a gas, we will use a liquid carrier. So this liquid is liquid at standard conditions, has a high hydrogen storage capacity. And for instance, when you compare to high pressure, you can store up to 7 times more hydrogen for the same volume and for the same weight. So we have a real added value on this part on hydrogen transportation and storage. When we compare this solution to the market, the liquid carriers that we developed, which is HySiL, has the highest storage capacity, even higher than the liquefied hydrogen. So with that, we can say that we will facilitate hydrogen transportation, because again, as it's a liquid, we will be able to use the same logistic as the one used for conventional fuel. So the same logistics, the same infrastructure, the same trucks. So instead of moving to a new way and to storing and transporting a gas, we will use the existing infrastructure. So you will not need to invest a lot of money in a new infrastructure, new gas infrastructure. And that's also a real added value of the solution. And it has been developed in France and in Europe, and had been patented. We patented the molecules. We also patented all the chemical aspect of this solution. So that's a quick view of how we will be implementing this value chain. So basically, we will plug the solution, a hydrogen unit that will be plugged to a hydrogen production plant. So basically, we will bound the hydrogen into the liquid carrier, use the same logistic as the one I said before, the liquid logistic. And then we will release hydrogen at the hydrogen consumption plant, for instance, an hydrogen refueling station. We don't need any energy to release the hydrogen from the liquid. We just need energy for sure to charge the hydrogen into the liquid. So the main difference also, again, of this solution compared to other solution is that we don't need energy to release the gas. So we don't need specific infrastructure and complicated infrastructure to release the hydrogen from the liquid carrier. That's a quick view of what we have done so far, and the team. So we were, this slide is kind of old because it's a 3 months old slide, but we are now 12 people in-house, and we will be 15 at the end of the year. And we have a strong advisory board that support us with a strong expertise in different fields, from utility sector to oil and gas companies. About the timeline, because Raluca talked about that earlier, about technologies that are ready to the market. We created the company in 2015. We have been supported by several big companies, but at the beginning, thanks to innoEnergy, we raised 2.5 million euros. We have several projects ongoing right now that we talk later, and we will look for funds at the beginning of 2021 to accelerate the integration of this technology into the market, and to accelerate also co-development with major players in the utility sector, oil and gas company, for instance. Also about the ongoing project. So on the left of this slide, you will have all the end users that are interested in the technology. As you can see, in maritime applications, there are a lot of projects. And on the right side of this slide, you will have all the projects that we have ongoing and we can talk about, because some of them are confidential, but we are part of a big consortium, for instance, with ENGIE and Toyota, which consists in transforming the sun power and energy to a liquid fuel, and HySiLabs will be this liquid fuel. So basically, it's an European technology and an European startup. So that's the reason why you can see that there are a lot of European companies that we are dealing with. That's a quick overview of how we work. Basically, we are working and transferring the solution to our customers, which are hydrogen producers. It could be oil and gas companies or utilities or EPCs companies, this kind of thing. And then we will not build our own plants. We will work closely with these players to build a plant, with these major energy companies to build the plants together to charge hydrogen and then deliver this hydrogen to a different kind of application. So that's the reason why, again, we can target a lot of application, and we can target all the hydrogen application presented by Christian before. And as you can see, there is a real need on hydrogen transportation and storage. So we have been supported by several times by innoEnergy again. Thanks again, guys. But also by big company like Shell and Airbus. And we are very proud also to announce that we have been part of the Green Deal award challenge call that we talked before. So we have been supported with more than 2 million euros. So I'm pretty proud of that, and that's also the reason why we multiply by 3 the employees of the company for the last 3 months. So that's pretty all of what I wanted to say. As I said before, I will be quick. So again, many thanks for this opportunity, and so we make basically hydrogen easy to deliver and store by developing a unique hydrogen liquid carrier. Thank you, guys, and I will be able to answer your question at the end of this webinar. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Pierre. And now I would like to welcome Benjamin from DCbrain, who is going to tell us how DCbrain will optimize all these flows coming.
Thanks, Raluca. Thanks a lot. So yeah, DCbrain is an artificial intelligence specialist. We created a software that is able to better understand flow propagation, to optimize flow propagation of flow propagation into energy networks. So we work in electrical networks, gas network, water networks, and so on. And now we are being used by some gas transmission system operators to better manage the flows of hydrogen into the networks. So basically, very rapidly, the new challenges of the gas industry following hydrogen injection. So basically, as you all know, a gas network operator are divided between transmission, so big pipelines, and distribution operators, so small pipeline we will bring the gas directly to your homes. And those guys, they have new challenges related to energy transmission. They have new rules to comply with. They need or customers need higher quality of service. And of course, they need to inject new gases into the network. So I've been talking a lot about biomethane and biogas for the past 10 years. And we are talking a lot about hydrogen for the past 6 months, I would say. So everybody 6 months. Obviously, this project has started before that, but everybody is talking a lot about hydrogen injection into gas transmission network. And it's creating new challenges for gas TSOs. So basically, it has been already said before, injecting hydrogen into existing network, it's very interesting, but also very challenging. It's an interesting option because the fundamental idea is to store and transport green electricity using power to gas assets. So basically, you are going to generate electricity based on renewable energy, PV, wind farm, and so on. And this electricity, most of the time, you can't consume it right away. So you need to store it. So either you can use batteries, you can use mechanical storage, and so on. But you also can convert it to gas using different techniques, globally called power to gas. So you are going to transfer power to electricity to gas, and then this gas you can inject it into existing gas networks, which is very interesting because you already have the assets, you already have the infrastructure, so you are able to store green electricity with limited capex, limited investments. So it's a very interesting idea, but it's very challenging. Why? Because the gas you are going to create is called green hydrogen, and hydrogen has not the chemical composition of classical gas. It's very thin. It's a very thin molecule, so it can have an impact on asset integrity. And it does not have the same quality as a classical gas. So it will have an impact on network balancing, and it will have an impact on invoicing and quality of service. Meaning that if a customer is going to get more hydrogen than other customer is going to pay more, because hydrogen will bring less energy than classical gas. So globally, if you inject new gas, especially hydrogen, into existing gas network, you need to be able to track gas quality. So you can do that by implementing a lot of sensors on the network, so chromatograph, but it's going to be super expensive. So that's why at DCbrain we came up with this software that is able, by computing flows, to better track gas quality. So basically, we created what we call a smart gas management suite. So it's 5 different modules of the same software dedicated to gas management issues, asset mining, loss analysis, track and forecast, and smart simulation and INES optimization. So the software is called INES for Intelligent Network Solution. And it is based on a technology that we call hybrid artificial intelligence, which I will share just now. So basically, when we talk about computing flows, you have two. Basically, most of the time, up until now, people use classical modelization based on physical modelization to compute flows. That's what I represent on the top left corner. So it's classical. So you use physical laws to better understand what is going to happen in the network. And then you can use artificial intelligence, basically the idea of using all the data coming from the networks to better understand flow propagation. The problem with artificial intelligence, or purely artificial intelligence, is that you need a super high quality of data, and this quality of data you will never reach. So basically, DCbrain, we created what we call hybrid artificial intelligence, and the idea is we are going to use artificial intelligence based on data to complete and enhance classical modelization. So basically, we are going to take the best of both worlds. When we have a good data sets, we are going to use artificial intelligence, and when we don't have a good data sets, we are going to take classical modelization. The idea at the end of the day is to go much quicker and much more precise than classical modelization based on the data that our clients have. So we apply this technology, obviously, for what we are discussing now. It's hydrogen injection into a gas transport operator. So we are working now it's an ongoing project. We are working with Fluxys, with the Belgium TSO. So it's in charge of the transport of gas in Belgium. They plan to launch a power to gas asset in the next 18 months. And the idea of this power to gas asset is going to transform green electricity into green hydrogen when the electricity cannot be consumed right away. And since at that moment it's going to impact the gas injection, and obviously they need to be able to track hydrogen propagation into their existing networks. It's a big network, so obviously it covers the entire Belgian footprint. So what we do, what we are still doing actually, because it's an ongoing project, is what we want to do is the several steps to complete the project is we are going to create a digital twin of the network to better have a view of the existing transmission network, and then we are going to fine-tune our modelization based on the data sets of our clients. And at the end of the day, we are going to check the results of the modelization in order to make sure that our tracking system is accurate and does track gas propagation inside the network. So this project is going to be finished in the next months, and it's quite exciting to be part of this energy transition movement. So it's a very good project for us. Okay, I think that's it for me. Thanks, Raluca, and I will be happy to answer a question at the end.
So thank you very much, Benjamin. And so now that our hydrogen reached its destination, I would like to welcome Simone, who will tell us a bit how they are able to certify that the energy, and in this case hydrogen, that reaches its destination is really green.
Yes. Hi, Raluca. Thanks a lot for the introduction. So first of all, thanks to everybody, especially DCbrain, for organizing the webinar, for inviting us. FlexiDAO, we are basically a startup in the energy sector, and we are a software provider, and we focus on the traceability and certification of renewable energy. Our focus as a company is indeed more on the renewable side of things rather than on hydrogen. We're now transitioning towards the hydrogen, leveraging on the opportunity that we see based on the new attention and the growth of focus of the European Union hydrogen. But as a company, we are let's say one of the global leaders when it comes to renewable energy certification. With blockchain technology. So we basically have built a new system that sits on top of the guarantees of origin, IREX and REX, which are the official green energy certificates, that adds granularity to the certification. So the usual certificates certify energy on a yearly basis. What we do is that we certify energy on an hourly or even less, down to 15 minutes or 5 minutes basis. So and this is relevant for hydrogen, starting directly from the RED 2, from the directive. The Article 27 of the directive clearly says that time and location of renewable energy production will be key if we want to build a sustainable hydrogen market in Europe. So what is then actually called green hydrogen. So if we actually had the ability of certifying with the exact timestamp of the energy production, and we would have a system that would allow the trading of certificates on an hourly basis, then we could be producing green hydrogen also from plants that are not directly connected to electrolyzer. Because then we would have all the means to actually prove that that certain volumes of energy have been consumed at the same time as production. And this is indeed what I've just said. Like why time is important. There's a pretty famous Stanford study, a study from the Stanford University, that says that whenever a grid passes 20% of penetration of renewable energy, the calculation, the yearly accounting of renewable energy, so certifying energy on a yearly basis, leads to wrong calculations of CO2 emission avoidance. And this is just because renewables have inherently fluctuations. So if you take average, or if you take a total volume over the year, you're just completely ignoring fluctuations. With such a system, we could have an electrolyzer that consumes only at night, buys solar guarantees of origin, and that would be green hydrogen. Then, of course, the FastGo project, which is the coalition that is now defining how guarantees of origin will be converted to hydrogen certificate, will somehow tackle this issue. But the underlying problem remains that there are currently no certification mechanisms that can have high granularity in the time stamping and therefore reflecting the actual curve of the production. And then the second is that the supply chain traceability, there's still low visibility and transparency. At least this is what our partners are telling us, and that's why they're interested in this. And as some of you might know, actually blockchain technology as an application at an enterprise level has reached the maximum scalability when it comes to supply chain traceability. So what we're trying to understand is, okay, as a company, we have a validated technology in the market to actually prove that the electrolyzer works at the same time as production, and then this creates a digital certificate that is bound and linked to an hourly green energy certificate, and then we can also trace it all the way down the supply chain. The supply chain part is the new part for us as a company. As I said at the beginning, we're strongest in the renewable energy part, and that's where we're mainly focusing right now. So in a nutshell, our product in the market is called Respring. Respring basically, as I said, is a tool, is a platform that enables the certification of origin and traceability end-to-end of energy vectors. Prior to hydrogen, we were working with renewable energy, but not only renewable energy, we're working with electricity as a whole, with green gas. And now we are taking the opportunity also to explore with a few partners how this application can become useful to increase the transparency and in the supply chain in the green hydrogen market, and ensure really that we are betting on green hydrogen. So what the platform does, and we are now building a test in Spain with a major utility we cannot yet mention. Press release will come out soon, and another one in Denmark. Basically, what the platform is doing is that it's collecting production data from different plants. Either if there's a PPA, it can also be off-site, thanks to our technology. Then collects consumption data, and it does a real-time certification of the production and a match with the electrolyzer. And then once a certificate for a specific unit of hydrogen is created, we can track it along the different steps of the supply chain. And then we have the user interface that allows all the different parties to interact, download the data. Since it's a distributed database, all the different parts of the value chain can access all the data and at the same time write whenever the hydrogen reaches a new point, and it's completely secure and safe, and data can be trusted by all the parties. So this is effectively what I've just explained. We execute the real-time matching and then the traceability. And a very important, I think, proof point that this solution is needed. Sorry, before I jump into that, just a bit of a track record. We basically, as a company, our main business model is to partner up with grid operators and utilities to collect production data and have a wide portfolio of availability of production data that then we collect, certify, track for the end consumer. We currently have 24 corporate buyers using our platform in 9 countries, and we track now it's actually 3.7 terawatt hour of renewable energy per year of consumption. Production is much higher. And then this leads me towards the end of the presentation, and this links to another initiative that we are collaborating in together with innoEnergy and many other parties. But basically, as a company working so closely with green certificates, we have seen how flawed they are. Meaning that we strongly believe that not having the time component in a guarantee of origin is a big limitation, especially as the market evolves. If you're talking about sector coupling, storage, vehicle to grid, PPA, like 24/7 procurement of renewable energy, these are all use cases for renewable energy that guarantees of origin cannot facilitate and cannot certify. So we believe that to actually truly go zero carbon in grids with high penetration of renewable energy, we need a new type of commodity, which is at least an hourly renewable energy certificate. And that's basically what Energy Tag aims to do. Energy Tag is a non-profit coalition that already accounts for more than 60 members. Google, Microsoft, Air Liquide, which is tightly related to hydrogen, and several TSOs have already joined the initiative. innoEnergy is actually one of the leaders. And the idea of Energy Tag is indeed to standardize the hourly certificate. It's not easy to go from a yearly to hourly certification. It's a lot of much more complexity, starting from what data you trust, how you transfer, how you cancel, how you manage time zones. So the objective of the initiative is to sit down together and define this. And one of the main working streams is, okay, how can the consumer benefit from an hourly certificate? And we believe that when it comes to hydrogen, it is one of the most obvious benefits, because for sector coupling and power to X, it's clear that if there's no synchronous production with consumption, then we are massively greenwashing, because we're allowing the electrolyzer to go on gray or gray electricity, or in general fossil. So it's fundamental that we find out a system where we can link much more the administrative layer with the physical layer to make sure that the electrolyzer runs on green electricity. That's what Energy Tax aims to do at a standardized level. And inside there's us and other service providers that then have the tool to test it out, run demonstrators. So also my time is running out. The key message I want to leave with is that if you're interested, you have my contacts in the presentation. Also, DCbrain can show it to you. More than happy to share more information about Energy Tag, about FlexiDAO, and if you're interested in running a demonstrator within the Energy Tag scope, more than happy to support you and to do something together. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so thank you very much, Simone. And yeah, you're absolutely clear on the main stakes here, and I'm positive that the solution you developed is really answering it best. And now I would like to welcome Caroline from Sylfen, who is going to introduce their innovative solution for buildings and industry, and also give us some example of use cases.
Hi, thanks, Raluca. Hello, everyone. Really happy to be here with you. So I will talk about what hydrogen can do for building energy transition. Our vision at Sylfen is that buildings can be the heart of the energy transition, being a producer of energy and being able to use it locally and rely only on 100% renewables. So just a few words about the company. So we formed the startup 5 years ago. We are 18 people at the moment. We are located near Grenoble, between Grenoble and Chambéry, with our new facility that we just took the key at the end of the first confinement. And now we are starting the manufacturing of our first product And we have 3 pilot units with 2, I will just talk about it just afterwards, and 2 first sales. So the thing is that a building that is producing its own energy with a local storage and cogeneration solution is able to rely on what is produced locally. And so the solutions that we have developed is called the Smart Energy Hub, and with this hardware and software, both hardware and software solution, we are able to reduce down up to 60%, down to 60% the energy bills, and the same amount down to 60% of the CO2 emission. The solution is an hybrid energy storage system and cogeneration (CHP) solution. We include battery for fast reactivity and really fast storage, and an innovative reversible electrolysis and fuel cell that help us to store huge quantity of energy without any self-discharge in form of hydrogen. And thanks to this technology, we are able also to have some backup to supply electricity and heat to the building thanks to natural gas. So a building that is having its own local renewable energy production on the roof or on the parking lot is able to manage locally all of its energy and supply itself. Basically, how does it work? When you have excess of energy, so when the sun is producing, and your building is consuming, when the time of production is in accordance with the time of consumption, you are able to auto-consume directly what you are producing locally. And all of the excess energy will be stored first in the batteries and second in the reversible oxide fuel cell. And on the reverse, when you need energy, you will take it back from the batteries and from the hydrogen, and as well from natural gas. Sometimes in winter, where there will be lots of days without any sun, and your hydrogen tank will be empty. And all of this is made possible thanks to a piloting software, a proprietary suite of software that we have developed internally, which makes energy management software multi-energy management software. Just some words about our go-to-market strategy. This is this methodology that help us firm the first contracts, the first sales. So first, we are working with partners from the building value chains, meaning architects, engineering companies, all of the firms that are working along with the building owners to help them construct the first design and then construct the building. Then we, along with these partners, we are making what we call a projection study, which is where we study the DNA of the site, of the owner sites, meaning the building consumption in terms of electrical thermal consumption, along with estimation of what the renewable energy can produce on site. And then we are making some simulation in order to precisely dimension the system to fit with the objective of the building owners. Then the third stage is, of course, to make a proof of concept, what we call a market proof of concept, in different countries. So where we are able to qualify first the local integration, all of the regulation, because buildings regulation is really different country from country. So working with local partners are helping us to get knowledge of the local market and all of the and about all of the specific regulation. And in the last stage, thanks to this first market proof of concept, we are able to deploy the system that will really fit the needs of the local market. So this methodology will just help us to sign the first sale, which was not in France but in Monaco. So it's the solution will be implemented on residential buildings that have solar panel on the roof, and we will make the energy management on these buildings. So in this project, we were brought by Aegis, which is an engineering company, French engineering company. So working with French partners that are able to deploy and that are also working in the country is like really a key for us to deploy deploy internationally. And they call us because they wanted to have E3C2 label from the new regulations from the experimentation E plus C minus here in France, and they were not able to design the best solution with existing technology on the market to answer to the customers. So they call us. We did the projection study. It was Monaco was really keen with this kind of technology, putting hydrogen inside a residential building. And we make the cell. The two other project is a bit different because we were funded from European funds. The first one, Reflex project, has been, so you have the list of the partners at the bottom of the slide. So in here, we were two partners help us win this project. First, we had in mind the FCAGU call to develop our reversible solid oxide fuel cell, and then we searched for partners on the field in order to make find the demonstration site, and so we found an Ivy Park, which is Ivy Park. Is working with startups. Is also really strong in R&D in research and development on hydrogen, on energy efficiency for buildings, etc. And we just went to in Italy. Explain the project. We were already having the CEA and NG inside the consortium, so it was quite a strong consortium. And NV Park accept to go with us, and we will install the system just at the beginning of next year. In this project, we will have two kind of renewable energies, PV panels, where you have the pictures in here, and also there is a small power plant on site. And the idea is for the smart energy hub to store the surplus of hydropower, especially during the night, and to store it and be able to use it during the day. Environmental Park was really keen to test this kind of hydrogen technology for storage because at the moment the hydropower plant got feed-in tariffs, but the feed-in tariffs are stopped in 3 years, and they are searching for another solution in order to auto-consume all of the production on site. Another project, GIFT project. In here, so it's again a bit different. We are 17 partners, and the objective of the project is to develop a smart grid and integrate some flexibility.
And Caroline has a problem. Hello, Caroline? So I think we have a network issue here. So Caroline was kicked out. So what I suggest is that she takes it over after during the questions and answers, unless she's back here. Okay.
I'm back here. Yes, sorry, I'm connecting on my phone, but it's still okay. So sorry about the network. So just to continue on this GIFT project. So the funding was coming from H2020, and in here the conception was already made, already constituted, and we were called by the consultant Euroquality, who was searching for another storage technology in order to be implemented into the smart grid. And so in this project, it was like really easy for us because we were just we just need to write some explanation about our technology, about what we can do for the island. But most of the work was done by INER and Euro Quality, and instead of other project where we work a lot, in here a few, yes, with really few hours of work, we were able to fund this project. So we will install one system into the city hall of Procida. So Procida is a really small island in front of Napoli. And the idea is for the island to rely on to be able to increase their renewable production, to manage it locally on the island, in order to reduce the use of diesel generators that are used a lot during summer, because the island, the population of the island is multiplied by 3 because it's really touristic. And so smart grid, renewable energies, and all of the energy management locally will be able will give the islands the power to rely on what they produce on site. Okay, so
Thank
this was
you very much, Caroline.
Yeah.
Maybe if you can just give a very last short sentence, and I think we have to move over. Okay, sure. Just because I talked about the project that worked. Of course, we have lots of projects that didn't work. I put the 2 here. And basically what I can, the conclusions that I can make on the project that didn't work is that it's really difficult for a French company to find fundings in the several countries, because most of the time, for example, in Belgium, they were able to fund the Belgium company, but we were not able to fund the French company. So we were sent back to ADEME, which was the funding window for French companies, and of course ADEME just rejected us, and it was approximately the same in other project, and so yes, it was my return of experience. Some fine-tuning to do still in the European funds, and we are trying to take care of that as well. So thank you very much. Okay. And now I would like to welcome Geoffroy from Atawey, who is going to tell us how their solution is tackling the mobility stakes in hydrogen, and share with us as use cases as well. Thank you, Geoffroy.
Yeah, thank you, Raluca. Good morning, everyone. I will talk about hydrogen mobility now, and especially about hydrogen refueling station. Can you hear me? Sorry, Raluca. Okay, perfect. Can you show my slides, please?
Actually, you can move it yourself.
Perfect.
With the,
perfect.
Right and left button.
All right, so let's talk about hydrogen refueling station now. Just a few words about Atawey. So we are a French company. We are 30 people. We are based in the Alps, in Chambéry, and we are designing and manufacturing hydrogen refueling station. And we will make this year roughly 4 million euros turnover. And over the last 3 years, we have multiplied by 2 our turnover every year. Which show the dynamic of the hydrogen mobility market. We have a slightly different market position from our competitors, and here is the reason why. I've taken as an example the French hydrogen mobility market. So if you have a look at what happened in France regarding mobility, there are roughly 40 hydrogen refueling stations. Public and private station together. There are 45 hydrogen refueling stations under projects. And on the roads, you have today almost 450 vehicles, so mainly cars, and between 10 to 20 buses. So if you analyze that digits I just showed before, in Paris, you have 5 stations for 300 vehicles, which is almost 60 vehicles per station. In Paris, it's quite different because there are a lot of hydrogen taxis. But then if you look at the other part of France, you have, let's say, 35 stations for 150 vehicles, which is around 5 cars per station, which is nothing. So it shows, the market shows that today, the need for the hydrogen refueling station is for small station to refuel small fleet of cars. And if you move at the midterm mobility market, so between 23 and 25, we expect in France to have 5,000 light-duty vehicles and around 200 heavy-duty vehicles, so buses and trucks mainly. And for that, so we will need refueling station that will be able to refuel around 2 or more heavy-duty vehicles and 50 cars. So the midterm need is for, let's say, more medium-sized station. And when you look at what the refueling station manufacturer offers, it's mainly large station to refuel hundreds of vehicles and also dozens of heavy-duty vehicles. But the thing is that the use and the usage is not here. So that's why at Atawey we have decided to take another path. And we are making stations to answer 3 needs. The first one is for pioneering projects. So we make small station to initiate hydrogen mobility projects. So it's small station that you can see on the high right parts to refuel a fleet of 1 to 5 cars. And actually that was quite successful because we've sold 10 to 15 stations like this model for mainly for local authorities and for large companies that wanted to test the hydrogen mobility with just a few number of cars. Then the second market we address is the creation of a network of hydrogen refueling stations. So here we are making a little bit larger station that can refuel few heavy-duty vehicles and also between 10 to 100 hydrogen cars. And we have already sold also almost 5 of these stations in different regional projects. And the third market we are targeting also is the development of new hydrogen ecosystem. When you look at the mobility market today, there are new mobility usage coming on the market. You have hydrogen bicycles, you have some forklifts, you have some marine application as well, and so we partners with the vehicle manufacturers to provide dedicated hydrogen refueling station. And in this case, for instance, we've worked with a company called Pragma that is making hydrogen bicycles, and we have developed a hydrogen station for them. Here is some example of the hydrogen refueling station we've made. So this is the first market I was talking about. So the refueling station to initiate hydrogen mobility project. So you can see it's quite compact. It's quite easy to install, and it's as well easy to use. So almost everyone that's come to the station can use the station easily and safely. The size here, it's almost two parking slots, so it's quite compact. Here are another example of the station we have installed for our customers, still to initiate hydrogen mobility projects. And these are hydrogen refueling stations, so it's a public hydrogen refueling station to create network of stations across the territories. So it's slightly larger than what I showed before, but here you can refuel buses, you can refuel hydrogen trucks, and of course hydrogen cars. That's just another example. And we were quite successful over the last 4 to 5 years. We have sold 25 stations. 18 of them are in operation in different cities. So you see here the cities in France in which we have installed hydrogen refueling stations. So our philosophy at Atawey today, we are pragmatic. And we are developing products that answers today's market for mobility application. So that's all for me. Thank you again, Raluca, for the invitation.
Well, thank you for a very nice presentation here. So as you can see, there are several solutions that actually allow to answer today the stakes of hydrogen and accelerate this energy transition. So now I would like to ask a few questions that I see here in the poll. So I would like to ask every one of the people answering to be really, really short because we have around 10 minutes to do so. So Atawey, is hydrogen produced locally at each station or do you need to refuel the refueling stations? Very short answer, please.
Yeah, it's both cases. In some cases, we have an electrolyzer on site, so we produce hydrogen on site. And then in other projects, it's just dispensers. And mainly now, more and more projects are going with, let's say, big local hydrogen production. So the hydrogen is produced locally, and then it's transported to different refueling stations. So we have both solutions.
Super, great. And HySiLabs, Pierre, actually you had a lot of technical questions that I see you did a great job answering already in the chat. So for people referring for the technical questions of HySiLabs, please read the questions part, he already answered. And maybe another one you didn't answer yet. So what are your next developments and what kind of collaborations are you looking for today?
Yeah. Thank you, Raluca. So basically, we have 1 year and a half in front of us to industrialize the process, to implement the technology into a big hydrogen production plant or massive hydrogen production plant. So that's for the next 2 years. And to do that, we are also mainly working on the R&D part, but for sure, to improve also the yield and the efficiency, as one of you guys asked in the poll. But the main challenge also will be to partner with big players to help us to bring this technology to the market and to have all the feedback from the market in terms of technical and needs from the market. So it's mainly on collaboration and the co-development program that we are looking for the next few months. Thank you.
Perfect, and I hope people in the hearing us today can actually reach out to us for that. So at any point, don't hesitate to contact me or any of the founders of the solutions you saw today for all the other relations. So question for DCbrain, there are two actually. Would low-cost gas quality sensors be required to ensure efficient implementation of hybrid AI on gas networks? And also, what about your technology maturity? Who do you work with already in Europe? Benjamin?
Yes, so for the first question, we need some... we might need some sensors distributed on the networks to fine-tune the modelization, but the good thing is that the software is actually going to be able to calculate precisely where do you need to put the sensors. So at the end of the day, you really optimize the investment cost, which is obviously a good thing. And the second question is that so the technology is mature now, and we work now in Belgium, in Spain, in Romania, in Switzerland with similar topics. So it's quite good. It's going quite well for DCbrain now in Europe.
Great. Good to know. So several questions also for Caroline from Sylfen. She also answered to the most technical ones online, but maybe can you precise what the round-trip efficiency of the smart energy hub is for buildings? Did you solve security issues? And another one that just came in, you're focusing now on a building. Can your technology optimize or manage energy between and in multiple buildings standing together? I know the answer is yes. Please, I hand it over to you.
Okay. I didn't hear. Yes, we can optimize between several buildings, and actually, the solution is even better for several buildings and several type of renewable energies because of the synergies that can exist between the two. Meaning that if you have several buildings, you will be able to consume more, and so you will need less storage on site. And the optimization and the dimensionment of the system is really is really depending on each site. And somewhat about the efficiency of the technology. So it's quite difficult to answer to this because we have two storage technology inside. Red trip efficiency for the battery is 90%. Red trip efficiency for the fuel cell is between around 45% in electricity and 30% in heat. So meaning around 70 to 80% round trip efficiency from the renewable energies that we are storing down to the electricity and the heat that we are supplying back to the building. And in between that, it really depends on the excess of energy that you need to store. If it goes more in the batteries, more in the hydrogen side, etc. And so the overall efficiency to the buildings will vary from one building to another.
Of course, and while we are with you, what is the maximum capacity you can reach with a hybrid solution today?
Today we can address assembly of buildings around 10 to 15 10,000 meters square of buildings.
Okay.
Collective buildings, offices, small hospital, hotels, etc.
Industry as well, I remember.
Industries as well. The main point is for you to have excess energy on site. If not, there is no need for storage, of course.
Of course. Thank you, Caroline. And Geoffroy, are you interested in farms looking to produce green hydrogen?
Sorry, Luca, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Are you interested in farms looking to produce green hydrogen?
PV farms, you mean?
I don't know what Nicolas Gibault at Inspiralia means with his question. What are any types of farms you are looking for to produce green hydrogen, or you are a standalone solution?
No, of course. So hydrogen. So we need two things. We need water and electricity. Electricity can come from different sources. Most of our customers, they are implicated into renewable energy projects. So today we have refueling stations that are connected to the grid, that are connected to PV panels, that are connected as well to hydropower. So today we have different type of project, but yes, most of the projects we have, they are connected to hydrogen, to renewable energy projects.
Okay, perfect. Question that would be for Christian and me: how does the European Clean Hydrogen Alliance work with the newly launched Green Hydrogen Acceleration question? So excellent question. The answer is we are complementary. So the European Clean Hydrogen Alliance was launched by the Commission. The Acceleration Center was launched by us with a focus on industrialization of projects. So we will work together in order to make the most of it. So how we usually work at innoEnergy. We bring together networks and have a very open ecosystem view. I also had many questions about, is this going to be broadcasted, and also are the presentations going to be sent? So yes, they will be sent. I am turning to Benjamin. Was this registered or not? Can people replay this webinar or not?
Yes, it was. We are going to send a mail to everyone in the following hours with a link to see again the webinar. So yes.
Perfect. And I know we will also send a mail with all the presentations here and the contacts of all the people that were present.
Yeah.
Will the Green Hydrogen Acceleration Center open to companies not founded by innoEnergy as well? Yes, of course. That is the aim, to gather all the energy, all the hydrogen actors across the across all the value chain in Europe. So yes, definitely. And how do we join it? Well, contact me and I will tell you more. And actually, there is a website, egac.com, where you can check all this information. So with no further ado, I see the time is clicking. So thank you all for having joined us for our webinar, co-organized with DCbrain. I would like to welcome you as well for our next webinar. So Elizabeth, my colleague in Benelux, is holding one 2 days from now on the 26th. And I will be hosting another webinar in France, in French this time, with several solutions that are mature across the value chain of hydrogen, moving a bit upstream as well, with other solutions that are from the renewable market, and also with the participation of NG. And I would also like to meet all of you in person in our yearly event that groups all the startups and the solutions that are supported by innoEnergy and all the ecosystem Energy represents at TBB in Berlin on the 3rd and 4th of November 2021.
Thanks, Raluca, and obviously we would like to meet people again in person. It would be great to do that, maybe hopefully in the next month. Thanks a lot to everyone and for coming and sharing your experience during this webinar. DCbrain will host another webinar about hydrogen on the 8th of December. We will be glad to welcome Terega's CEO. So Terega is one of the main gas TSO in France. We will also get the feedback from Colette Leviner, who is a board member of EDF, who is an energy expert in France. So I think it's going to be super interesting to have their point of view about hydrogen development in Europe. So again, thanks, big thanks to everyone that made possible this webinar, and hope to see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.